Hey guys, if you're new here, welcome to the channel, and if you've been here before, welcome back. Today's video, we're going to be rebuilding rave valves. And rave valves are from the rotax engines. They're called rave valves. They're the rotax adjustable variable exhaust. So it's all it is this cap that you can adjust, and there's a spring, like I'll show you whenever we get this apart. But what it does is it's a mechanical guillotine, or your guillotine right here, it opens mechanically. Whenever it's low RPMs, it's closed. And whenever you throttle up, the more RPMs, the more pressure it pushes this up, and it allows your exhaust to breathe, which expands your power band and allows you in a two-stroke motor to go faster. So with that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to teach you how to rebuild these, because I mean they're found in lots of Sea-Doo personal watercrafts, Ski-Doo snowmobiles, a lot of Can-Am off-road. I think their four-wheelers and dirt bikes both have them. So we're going to teach you a little bit about them. Now they can be kind of a pain to get out of the block, because what they do is they get covered in oil, which I've already cleaned these. But they get covered in oil and then these stick, and then they get stuck inside the block. So you might have to get a slide hammer and put the claws on the end of it after you get it apart, and pull it out, like just tap it all the way out, because they can be a pain. You can work them back and forth and everything else. So but anyways, with that being said, we'll get to the bench and we'll start tearing this apart. All right, so I have the rave valves off a 2001 GTX RFI Bombardier Sea-Doo. So I had an injector failed that actually caused problems in here, like these O-rings that you'll see when I get apart. Like, you always want to inspect these when you take them apart, because they might look normal on one side, but whenever you flip them over, you can see just melted and damaged, and yeah, not good. So, but anyhow, this is your adjustable part of it. These just turn. You can actually turn these and they go in. A good starting point for adjusting them, because there's a spring that's inside of this. But if you, on the 900s, you adjust this all the way in, and then on the 787s you adjust this all the way out, and then to where it's flush right here, like right across the top, it's just where it's flush, and that's a good starting point for the 787s. But with that said, here you want to take this metal bar and you want to push it, but you want to hold on to this because there's a spring underneath it. So you want to get that off, and then this cap, like I said, you want to watch because it's under pressure, because there's a spring right there. So what you do is you take that off, set that to the side, set your spring to the side. You always want to check too, like make sure your springs aren't broken, or even like bent or anything. If they are, you definitely want to replace them. So next you want to get this little plastic cap off. What it does is it screws onto the bottom of the guillotine on the threads. But first you want to get this little spring right here off the side, and you can just fold it down and around to where that cap's off. Okay, and then I just take, or you can take this off too, set it to the side. Take a little 10mm and just real light bump it, and then once you crack it, it just spins out. And then you want to be careful here too, because there's a spring also, just a cap, and then there's a spring, a smaller spring inside of here. Okay, now, see, that's what you got to watch for, them little spring clips, because they will fly. And you don't want to lose these, because they're really good to have and they're hard to find. But you can use zip ties on this if you don't have these, obviously. But inside here too, you gotta slide the guillotine out. It just slides out, and there's an O-ring that's on that part right there, which we're going to change. But inside here, where that came off of, there's an O-ring, and then there's a plastic washer that's flat on one side and it's concaved on the other, as you can see here. And what that does is it allows, whenever it's going in there, it allows that O-ring to sit inside that to seal. So don't lose these, because typically they don't send these with kits, so these are harder to come by. So just, yeah, don't ever throw those away or anything like that. So we'll set that off to the side. This O-ring here, it's still, I don't know, in fairly decent shape. So but we're going to replace it anyway. We got 2 brand new ones here. But you want to get this off. There's another one of them rubber spring clamps in there. So if you just pull this up, it's right there. And then there's your body for your valve. Okay, so get this and take a spring off. Set that there. Now there's orange ones that come on these, and the orange ones are better, I've heard. I don't know personally, but like they're softer. You can see like how like stiff this one is, like, and then this one just worn out, like real soft. So, and then you can see even the size difference in them, because they're not good no more, you know what I mean? Like they're excessively used, you could say. So what we're going to do is take a little tiny bit, oop, I mean to rock the camera. I'm going to take a little bit of marine grease. I just use, you know, this here. And what you want to do, just put a little bit on your finger. And then right on the inside of this lip, because it's going to be a little bit tight. Oh, it's kind of off camera, but you want to put it right here on the inside of this lip. Not a lot, just a little tiny bit. Because you want to put your small spring on first, and you want to make sure it wants to seat inside that groove that's there. But then you want to try to get it to get on here, and you got to kind of push, because like I said, with that new rubber, it's a little tough. You just kind of work your way around, pushing down. Make sure you don't tear your rubber. That's why you want the grease, and as you can tell, it's sometimes a pain in the butt. But you just keep working her, and eventually she'll go in. Alright, after you get the force down in there, you can take a look in your little groove, make sure, you know, that that's in there and seated good, and that little groove that's on the inside of there. Okay, and then you want to take one of your new O-rings, because you want to take this one off of the blade, the guillotine. You want to remove this one. It slides right off, and then the new one just slides right on there. Okay, and then I mean, you're not going to put the guillotine in backwards, because as you can tell, there's this little groove right here, and on the arm it has that little tab sticking out right there. So it only goes one way, so you don't have to worry about, you know, sticking it in backwards or nothing, because it won't go. But yeah, after you do that, you want to take your other new O-ring, and then you want to slide it down first, and then this is where that plastic grommet or washer, whatever you want to call it, you want to stick that beveled edge down. So you want to put it like this to where the flat edge is up, because you want it to seat down in here. You want it to push tight with that O-ring, because then it'll get your seal. All right, and then from there you want to, well, you put your cap back on here, but you want to put your spring in first, because I almost forgot, like a dumbass, you know. But tighten that down. Get her all the way down. And just give her a little tiny snug after she's all the way down, just like that. Good. Okay, and if you push this down, well, let me get a little screwdriver here. Push this down, and you kind of roll up with this. You can get it to roll up on there. Oh yeah, wait. It helps if you put a little bit of grease on it first. Take this off. Set this back down. A little tiny dab of that marine grease. Like I said, you don't want a lot, and you just want to put it on the inside lip here of this. Okay. Then get your cap started. If it wants to start. Okay. Alright, well, after, I went and wiped my hands off because they were all covered in grease, and, a few choice, profound swear words. Yeah, we got the spring one. So, after that goes your big spring, and then your cap. You want to, let's see here. Where did this go? Alright, so you want to hold that, 'cause like I said, you don't want that spring to go flying. And then you want to hook these little hooks. I'll try to do this where you can see it. The little hooks on the sides like that. And then you want to push this and just roll it up over them little guides. Oh, you want to get it straight, obviously. Get that straightened up like that, and then you just push it up on. And like I said, after it's freshly rebuilt, you can go ahead and you can feel the difference in it now. It's super tight. So, and then after that, all you do is you just put your gasket on. Goes right over. You just loop it all the way around through, and then you can install it. So, hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good one.